观自在菩萨心生般若波罗蜜多时，照见无因皆空，一切苦是离子是不异空，空不异是即是空，空即是受想行识亦复如是离子是诸法空相。不灭不垢不净不增不减，是故空中无色心受。乃至无意识皆无无明亦无无明尽，乃至无老舍亦无老舍尽，无故即灭道，无者亦无得亦无所得故。萨多依般若波罗蜜多故，无挂碍无挂碍故，无有功不厌离颠倒梦想究竟涅槃三世诸佛依般若波罗蜜多故得阿耨多罗三藐三般若波罗蜜多是大神咒，是大明咒，是无上咒，是无等等咒，门处一切故真实不虚，故说般若波罗蜜多咒，即说咒也。切地切地切地波罗僧切地波吉娑婆诃。Om Namo Bhagavate Arya Pragya Paramita Yai Arya Avalokiteshvaro Bodhisattva Gambhirayam Pragya Paramitacharyam Charamano Vyavalokayati Sma Panchaskandastamsha Svabhava Shunyan Pashyati Sma Iha Shariputra Rupam Shunyata Shunyata eva rupam, rupam na pritak shunyata, shunyataya na pritak rupam. Yat rupam sa shunyata, ya shunyata tat rupam. Evam eva vedana samgya, samskara vigyanani. Iha shariputra sarva dharma, shunyata lakshana. Anutpana anirudha amala, avimala anuna, aparipurna. Tasmat chariputra shunyatayam, na rupam na vedana, na samgya, na samskara, na vigyanam, na chakshusrotra grana jihva, kaya, manamsi, na rupa shabda gandha rasa sparshtavya, dharmaha. Na chakshu vigyana dhatu yavan, na mano vigyana dhatu, na avidya kshayo yavan, na jara maranam, na jara marana kshayo, na dukha samudaya nirodha margaha, na jnanam na praptir, na apraptihi. Tasmat chariputra praptitvat, bodhisattvasya pragya paramitam ashritya viharati. Achita avarana nastitvat. Atrasto viparyasa tikranto nishta. Nirvana praptaha. Triyadva sarva sambudha pragya paramitam ashritya nutar. Samyak sambodhim abhisambudha. Tasmad gyatavyam pragya paramita mahamantro mahavidya mantro. Anutara mantro. Sama asama mantraha sarva dukha prashamana satyam amityatvat pragya paramitayam ukto mantraha tatyatha gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhiswaha gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhiswaha gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhiswaha. Now today I have to make a small announcement which is very important. Unfortunately I did not pay attention to that. because when I meditate, I do not pay much attention what's going on outside, but there is one disturbance. Some of the participants, I won't be concrete, during the meditation, they go around and make pictures flashing in the eyes of the meditators, and this is naturally very disturbing and should not be done. This is lack of respect for the meditation and for the meditators. So make sure that this does not happen anymore, and that the meditators are not disturbed while they are meditating. It is naturally very disturbing with a flash right in the eyes while one is meditating. This is really impossible to do such a thing. So make sure that this does not happen again. Right. So we have been dealing with the 16 exercises, explaining the practice of mindfulness of the breath in terms of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the feeling, mindfulness of the mind, and mindfulness of the mental objects connected with the process of liberation. We have to translate connected with the process of liberation, but with the understanding that actually when one meditates on the body, feeling, and mind, eventually all objects become the objects of liberation, connected with the process of liberation. It is very important to understand. For this very reason, in the Northern tradition, this process of meditating the only way, Buddha describes the practice of mindfulness and awareness as being the only way for leaving all worries and fears, all defilements of the mind, and attaining the old city of peace, the nirvana. This is the old city of peace which all the wise men have been searching for, including the Lord Buddha. At the time of the Buddha, this ancient city of peace has been hidden by all kinds of concepts, especially the concept of self. So the Buddha has taught the way of reaching that old city by removing the concept of self. Only by removing the concept of self, the Buddha has found one will be able to transcend the world. There is no other way of transcending the world. This was the experience of the Buddha. So, the true meaning of religion in the sense of religere, to being bound again to the true reality, is through abandoning the concept of the self. This is also the perfect realization of the yoga. The meaning of yoga since the ancient time is non-violence. So the true religion is the religion of non-violence, and the religion of non-violence can be the religion of non-violence only when it discards the concept of self. So, this discarding of the concept of self and of the attachment to the self, to discard the concept of self actually is only the beginning of the path, but to discard the habits connected with the concept of the self is a long, long way. So the first step towards the realization is discarding completely the concept of the self. This happens in the first step of the attainment of the disciples, as far as the bodhisattva is concerned. It happens in the third bhumi, third stage of realization, when the practice, this is for us of importance, when the practice of the purification of the mind has been completed. This is being so because the bodhisattva aims at extermining even all habits connected with the concept of the self. So, we have explained yesterday the process of practicing the four foundations of the mindfulness is from body to the feelings, from feelings to the mind, from mind to the mental objects. Till when mental objects are understood, all are understood. When everything is understood, only then the defilements can be completely uprooted. The Yogacara tradition of the Northern Buddhism especially emphasizes this aspect. The most skillful way of removing all defilements is understanding that everything is mind. And that this mind does not belong to any self. So, we have explained the mindfulness, practice of mindfulness of the body and the practice of mindfulness of the feelings on the base of observation of the breath. And we have seen that this second part, observation of the feelings, in both Northern and Southern tradition, presupposes the practice of the dhyanas. Otherwise, the feelings, because the objects are changing, the feeling is changing, cannot be subjected to proper investigation. So the practice of the dhyanas is very helpful for understanding the feelings. The feelings, as we have explained and as explained in the scriptures, like Mahavedala Sutta explains, that the differentiation of the mind is based on the differentiations of the feelings. And we have explained that the real meaning of the feeling means experiencing the object. It has much wider range than what we understand as feeling in the Western psychology. However, in English we say, I feel he will not come tomorrow or something like that. This is not meant by the feeling again. What is meant by the feeling is just the reception of the pleasant touch, unpleasant touch, or neutral touch of the object. When we say, I will not feel, I feel he is not coming tomorrow, what is concerned is the process of perception, not the process of feeling. And this process of perception is connected especially with the process of mindfulness and awareness. So, when we feel in the sense of receiving the object, then we differentiate it. And the process, how we differentiate it, decides how we experience the world, how we pay attention to the world. We pay attention to the world either in terms of the true reality or in terms of our own fantasies. And the paying attention to the world in terms of our own fantasies is actually responsible for the process of defilements of the mind. So the mindfulness and awareness is responsible for understanding whether the mind is wholesome or unwholesome. So the first exercise in the mindfulness of the mind is Chittam patisamvedi asasisamiti sikkati, chittam patisamvedi pasasisamiti sikkati. I am learning to breathe in and breathe out while experiencing the mind. How do I experience the mind? By mindfully, with awareness, experiencing all different states of the mind. These states of the mind, if you are skillful in meditation, you can make them happen as you like. So you will understand how the feeling, complex of the feelings and the mind is cheating us. A skillful meditator, for the sake of practice, he can make the mind attached, non-attached, angry, non-angry, deluded, non-deluded. Seeing that all these states are just conditionings, nothing else. nothing to do with the self and what belongs to the self. So these are the states of mind, all conditioned and conditioned especially by feelings. The attached mind, non-attached mind, angry mind, non-angry mind, deluded mind, non-deluded mind, the vigilant mind or thinking mind, the agitated mind or non-agitated mind, the mind experiencing deep concentration or non-concentrated mind, the mind, superior mind in the subtle perception of the dhyanas, or inferior mind dominated by the senses, the subtle mind and the gross mind, the mind liberated from defilements and mind non-liberated from defilements. All these things one can experience through breathing in and breathing out mindfully. Then the conditioned nature of the mind becomes very clear, and one can detach from the mind. Only by detaching from the mind one will understand the true nature of our perception. The impermanence of all the processes of cognition. So, having understood clearly the impermanence of all the processes of cognition, whether wholesome or unwholesome, the next step, explained in a different way in Southern tradition and Northern tradition, but very complementary. It is very useful to study both traditions because they are complementary, very much complementary. Only the words are different, but the experience is the same. The tradition of Northern Buddhism, especially based on the Abhidharma Kosha, emphasizes that the process of training in the 4 foundations of mindfulness is step by step: body, feeling, mind, and mental objects. First, by the wisdom through hearing, understanding of the concept, then by wisdom of contemplation, penetrating the concepts, and finally by the wisdom of meditation, penetrating those concepts that we have understood in contemplation by direct yogic perception, mental perception. This is also the process of cutting off defilements. Only when the whole, in Buddhism especially emphasized, only when the whole is understood, the defilements can be uprooted. And the whole is understood step by step, from body to the feeling, feelings to the mind, and from mind to mental objects which are controlled by mind. So the Buddha says only the whole, when the whole has been understood, penetrated and abandoned, one can abandon the suffering. This is a process. And how it works further, we will learn tomorrow. Now let us meditate.